Hi. Today we are going to wrap up our somewhat extended uh, discussion of 6-1-127, 91 in Siddhanta Kaumadi, Iko Savarne Shakalyasya Rasvascha. Iko Savarne Shakalyasya Rasvascha. Now, we also discussed the first of two Vartikas to this sutra, Nasamase, Nasamase. So just a quick recap of that situation. We had Asavarne Achipare Padantat Ikaha Prakrtya Shakalyasya Mate Hrasvaha Cha. So when a non-savarna ach follows a word final ik, iurlak, it stays prakrtya without change in Shakalya's opinion, and it also becomes hrasva if it's dirgha, and we saw how that operated. Now, with the first Vartika, Nasamase, we saw that this option attributed to Shakalya is not does not hold for compounds, but it's not any old compound. It's Nitya Samasa, the mandatory, obligatory compounds. So now we have a second Vartika, which also is a limit to the operation of Ekosavarne Shakalyasya Rasvascha, Siticha. Now, one thing that I'm a little bit curious about, not a big deal for sure, which is that Siticha is framed in a way that, other things being equal, you might say it actually expands the scope of the sutra, but in this case it doesn't. Its meaning is siti cha na, also not siti, one which has s for it, Bahuvrihi compound we're familiar with. Sit is one which has s for it, and siti is saptami, so we know that saying when one with for it follows is also not a applicable Shakalya's option to stay the same. So now, so what interests me is that that's almost taking the nasamase as anuvarti to siticha, and that may happen a lot more than I'm picking up on at the moment, but it's a little thing. So let's look at an example. Parshu plus a. What is parshu plus a? Well, devil's in the details as always. So the point is that this a is not just a. This a is nas, and nas is sit because it has s for it. So the a of nas is sit because stanivadadesha analpidao, the substitute is like the one being substituted for. It's not actually a substitute, but the still carries the name of sit with it, and therefore parshu plus is not optionally prakrtya, and by default 6.177 ikoyanachi applies to it because it is the, could say, governing sutra for this situation. So parshu plus becomes parshva. Parshu plus becomes parshva. One other little another point that is a little bit interesting to me. There is also a Sutra 1416, 1252 in Siddhanta Kaumadi, which is also Siti Cha. And in this case, it has an entirely different significance. In this case, it's saying when there is S for it, when an affix has S for it, what precedes it becomes pada. Now, I mentioned when we were talking about Gauriao recently that while the governing rule Sutingantan Padam is there, it's not always that straightforward. And in this case, this sutra is saying that Parshu is pada by virtue of having an augment that is sit. And the reason that's important, separate from the ruling adhikosvarne shakalyasya rasvascha, is that it blocks the operation of another sutra, which yet we don't have to go into, which if the parshu remained as it was, would require guna substitution of the u, and that would be wrong. So once again, we have the same situation and the same word and the same outcome, parshva. And it's always a little bit interesting to me when two different sutras, or in this case a Vartika and a sutra, end up using the same singular example. But it's also fun that way. Thanks.